it has to go back to what it was. You can't
Well, that's
just
what
make
the
up
guidelines,
something.
no,
Right.
that's what the guidelines say. And we made it abundantly clear that we gotta get it right. And I haven't sensed anything from,
I mean,
Jim made the comment, just a second, Jim made the comment during the meeting. What I was about to say is I haven't sensed anything from a client standpoint in talking with Jim that they're adverse to going back.
Right.
All
I don't
right, the
think the client
client,
wants to do that.
the client said, let's go back, yet Jim presents us this. And we're going, okay,
I mean, so this area right here would have been just like this.
yeah. I mean, that's, exactly.
There's the two columns, I mean, this is exactly what it was. You can even, there's the ghost line on the floor is still, I mean, up here is at an angle just like that.
What are you doing here?
I can sit down on Monday.
Are you on the HPRB? Are you really? Man. That's too bad you have to go through.
We have
that.
to give at least.
We do.
We have to give them.
I'm Jimmy.
I'm
Randy.
Michael Weaver.
Mike, nice to meet you.
No, Michael.
Michael, do you want Michael?
Yeah.
Good to see you.
See my friend.
Jeff Johnson, nice
I
to meet you.
haven't trained.
I'm like third on the line of succession on staffing the HPRB.
Hello.
Byram, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Geisler.
Geisler.
There is a
In
company.
Montgomery.
Hi, Janice.
Hi,
There's
I'm
a
getting ready.
there's a company out in St. Louis area, Geisler. It pronounce it Geisler though. Roofing, big roofing,
It's
big.
supposed to be Geisler.
Is it supposed to be? You don't want to be
Sometime
different.
around World War II,
Yeah.
people decided that
Yeah.
didn't sound so great.
No,
It's actually Danish.
a Geisler Roofing. I remember. They actually did one of our city halls one time.
Hey there, Mr. Moran, you want to sit there?
Oh no! I'm not. I don't. No.
You
I'm.
can call and roll and all that stuff.
Oh, dude. I don't know anybody's name. I was just. No, you do it.
It's all up here.
Oh.
She's the boss,
Oh,
right?
do you need me to do it? Is that what you need me to do?
I think Jason's out of town.
Jason's out of town.
Oh,
so we
okay.
need you to
Okay, I
log.
can do that if you want me to.
Yeah, I got the packet
Okay.
up for you. There's the name.
Okay. All right. I can do this. I like to improvise.
Okay, there you go.
All right. Well, tell me when you.
All right, we'll work our way through.
Is Andrew coming?
Yes, sir. No, sir, he communicated earlier to me, but we've got the requisite four
What do you
that
need?
we need.
Oh.
That's just there for show.
Yeah,
Okay.
No, it's really stuffy in here.
Actually did a church one time. We renovated the sanctuary and the board chairman made us put a fake thermostat behind the piano so that the janitor could get up during the service and everybody could see him walk up there and monkey with it. And they had, that's First Baptist Church in Kingsport,
That's hilarious.
1989.
all right. Mr. Morani, if you would, please, sir, just call roll and we'll commence the meeting.
Mr. Weaver,
Here.
Mr. Geisler,
Here.
Mr. Neese. Not here. Mr. Johnson,
Here?
Mr. Webb.
Here.
We have a quorum. Chair.
Thanks, sir. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Lagarde and apologize once again. The reason for the special meeting, I have a conflict, and some of the meetings, I have a conflict relative to voting. I'm a member of Sinking Spring Presbyterian Church and actually sit on the property committee, which is putting forth the application under consideration today. So I can conduct the meeting, but relative to voting, I will recuse myself. As such, Mr. Lagarde, I appreciate the patience. I know we've tabled this issue twice. I'd like to thank the members of the committee as well for coming today on a special meeting. With all of that said, if you would, please step to the podium, tell us a little bit about the application. Then we'll ask any questions that may be presented.
So no apologies are necessary, Mr. Johnson. That's okay, I understand. I want to thank you guys who volunteer on this board. It's great that we're all trying to keep our town historically accurate. Do you guys have a copy of the application that I sent in? I hope that you do. I did make a copy. I have one copy if,
Yeah, we're familiar with it.
okay, all right. So, I represent the property and stewardship team at Sinking Spring Presbyterian, and we're right down at the corner of Pecan and Main Street, Jimmy, right in the heart of the historic district. So it's a landmark that has been here since, the records say, 1895. So the sanctuary and the bell tower require significant upgrades. This application is in regards to external work on the bell tower. And if you have the sketch or a picture with a couple of numbers on it, I tried to indicate number one points to, or tries to point to, the first phase of this application, which is work on the mortar joints. Number two in the picture is attempting to refer to the what do we call number two? Louvers. Those are the louvers on all four sides of the bell tower that allow air to move through. And number four on the left-hand side of the picture refers to the four finials at the corners of the bell tower. Now, our church has only funded the first phase, which is the masonry work, and the job is to clean and tuck point the masonry at all levels and to follow the historical character of the brick. We have found two contractors who have indicated they have the skill sets to do this. We have not awarded a contract, but we are close and we feel like we can mobilize this work if you guys approve it in mid-August. The challenge, of course, is access, okay? So an articulating lift would go up and around the bell tower, and they would build some scaffolding to go up and to do the masonry work. So I'd like, if I could, to just quickly read one paragraph of the contract to see if you guys understand what I've said here. Contractor is to provide all labor supervision, materials, equipment, permits, all other requirements, to remove all broken and compromised mortar, to clean and tuck point all applicable masonry joints at all elevations. The replacement mortar shall be lime-based with the same color and style in keeping with the historical character of this building. The masonry work shall follow typical best practices, and we are making a part of the contract the masonry guidelines from the Historical Preservation Board Design Guidelines. So it's section 24 masonry guidelines will be a part of the contract. So I have, this is an exciting picture of the brick on the side. So phase one is the masonry work. And we would like to get started, as I said, in mid-August. Phase two, which we are asking for approval, is to caulk and replace all of the damaged wood on the louvers on all four sides. If you drive down and eat at 128 Pecan Street, take a look up on the bell tower and you can see how weathered, okay, the wood is.
And Let me interject if I may, Mr. McCord. The louvers themselves right now are wooden louvers. It's my understanding, the louvers, any and all replacements, it's of like kind, wood for wood.
That's exactly right.
The paint, I believe from the application, is just Sherwin-Williams outdoor paint, which I believe is SW 7006.
Well, you're right. How do you know all of that? SW 7006. You want to see it,
He's got
Jeremy?
inside information.
You want to see it, Jeremy?
That's one of my favorite colors, actually.
But then you've got the caulking in the ceiling.
Right.
But the main point is wood for wood, like kind.
That is correct.
Okay.
And there is a wooden louver, you see number 3 there, that's right on Main Street, that round louver. That's above the annex in our sanctuary, so that's part of the second phase. And the third phase, again, is number 4 in that picture. That's to get up there and repair those finials. We think they are metal clad. We think there is probably some wooden damage at the base of at least one of those finials. So that is the third phase that we're asking for approval, to repair and repaint the 4 finials at the corner.
Let me clarify, you said that you're only asking for phase 1?
And we only have funding right now for phase 1, so.
But we're approving all these things.
I'm asking for the approval from this board for all 3 phases.
Then he has a year, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right.
So let's just not to backtrack, but we'll approach it one by one. Clean and tuck point on the brick. The mortar is going to be a lime-based mortar. One of the companies that furnishes this is Limeworks. A chart has been ordered. I actually ordered it to where we can match up. It's a sample kit where you can match up the mortar itself as far as colors. Any questions relative to the brick and the work that is proposed there?
Yes, so, I mean, in terms of the scale, I mean, is this work that's required in sort of isolated places where there's masonry that's loose, or is this an overall, the entire building kind of thing? I mean, what?
The intent, Byram, is to have them scale and replace any bad mortar, because we are having some leaks into our sanctuary that we believe are coming from wind-blown rain into bad mortar, particularly on the back side of that bell tower. So they would only be taking out the bad mortar. They're not going to take out the good mortar. They're going to repair the bad mortar.
And I mean, the proposal says clean and tuck point masonry, and our guidelines say that brick should not be cleaned unless there is major staining, accumulated dirt, or paint buildup. Limited staining or dirt accumulation should be left alone. So, I mean, this is an overall cleaning of the whole brick building. Is that, when you say cleaning, that's not what that means, is it?
We do want it cleaned.
How's it gonna be cleaned?
I don't have the answer to that question.
This is, I'm pretty sure that this is soft brick, and I've had this happen to me in a historical district in Woodstock. That if you pressure wash it, you'll gouge the brick.
Correct.
And the mortar will really come out if you pressure wash
Yeah.
it. That soft mortar will.
And my experience is, as soon as you put this out for bid, the contractors are gonna wanna know how many square feet.
And we've, the contractor with whom we think we will award has sent a drone up around the back of it. And I have not seen those pictures that were taken, but.
So you're having water damage around the bell tower area?
Yeah, behind that bell tower, you probably can't see it, but you got a vertical, and then you've got another,
Right.
okay? And we think there's a lot of damaged mortar in that area on the, what would that be, the south side?
So do you have like a, what's it called, a cricket? Like a valley coming down?
Yes, yes.
The primary purpose, and it, I want to be careful as to, I don't want to present the application, is the mortar joints. Any cleaning, I believe, would just be very light water brushing. Certainly no pressure washing, anything of this nature, because it will deteriorate, just
Yeah.
like you said.
I mean, clearly if you're missing mortar in joints in places where it's gotten washed out or has fallen out over time or whatever, that needs to be repaired. But, you know, I have seen contractors come in and, you know, with Dremel tools start taking mortar out and repouring it all over in major sections, and you really want to avoid that
Okay.
if you can.
Right.
Because, I mean, you know, what you've submitted here, this looks perfectly fine.
Yeah, and that's down at the
Right.
base, and yeah, that looks
Part of the
fine.
problem is that mortar, besides being old, is not compacted with a tool.
Right.
And so it remains somewhat porous. And if they replace the mortar, theoretically, they should put it back just as it is.
Correct, and that's the intent with the lime-based. Any areas that are actually, and there are areas right along the base, primarily where water has hit the ground, exploded back up, some of the joints there, you know, along the base of the bell tower, and then as you go up the bell tower, you'll see different areas where the mortar joints have actually deteriorated and popped out. Those are the areas in which you'll clean very gently, actually wet first, then apply the mortar, and then wet the mortar again, so that it can basically expand and contract. It breathes.
Yeah, I think as long as it's limited to damaged areas that you're repairing, that would not be a problem, as long as you have to ride roughshod of your contractor and don't let them get, you know, out of control, because that,
Yeah, I understand, and the contractor understands that hard pressure washing is not a part of the design requirements. I mean, he has read that and he understands that.
Any other questions?
I have no idea, but I have chimneys on my house, and I have had water problems around them, and for a long time, I thought it was something like what you're thinking, is it getting in through mortar joints, and it turned out that's not the case. It was that some of this horizontal sills higher up, maybe where you have the, I guess, surfaces where rain hits directly, the water was getting in there, and then slowly coming down through the masonry, and then
Right.
showing up below, and it would appear that it was getting from the outside, from the roof in through that way, but that wasn't where it was coming from. So I just throw that out there, that may be some of what's going on there, but. I don't
Some of
know.
these areas, you can actually go up in the bell tower and you've got light shining
Oh,
through.
well, I'm
So-
sorry for the indication.
But no, I mean, that's a very valid point. It's just this brick, as you all know, is a very porous brick.
Yeah.
It's like a sponge. So,
That was the only issue I had.
okay. Number two, the wooden louvers, I think we've addressed as far as wood for wood, and then the relative paint. Three would be the wooden louvers above the stained glass. And that's the same situation? Mr.
Yes,
Bernard?
right.
Okay. Then number four would be the finials.
Yes.
And the finials, again, if you would, state, believe those to be metal clad.
Yes.
And then the last is the lighting. If you would address that, please.
We have 4 lights that have shined up on that beautiful old steeple, which have burned out probably 10 to 12 years ago. So if we can get the repairs made, we're gonna go back with LED lights onto the steeple.
And all of those lights are pointed up on the steeple,
On the steeple,
away from any adjacent properties, anything of that nature.
onto the steeple.
Any questions? Let me, if I may, 2 points I'll recap. Your first is your brick, your clean and tuck point brick, repairing only the damaged areas. Cleaning is to be minimal. No pressure washing, that would damage then the brick in place. 2 is the wooden louvers, wood for wood. White paint is the Sherwin-Williams 7006. 3 is the wooden louvers, above the stained glass windows. Again, wood for wood, repair. Finials, repair and paint, the paint on the finials. What is?
The same, SW70 006.
White.
Yes, white.
And then finally, the replace 4 burned out lights and then restore the upward lighting on the steeple itself. Is that a accurate summary?
It is what I had intended on expressing, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Again, I would like to, for the record, state that I am recusing myself from voting. Please let the record show that. With that said, entertain a motion.
I move that we grant the certificate of appropriateness as summarized.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second. We'll go to the same one as I did. I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Weaver,
Aye.
Mr. Geisler,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson, abstained,
Recuse, abstain.
and Mr. Webb.
Aye.
Okay, passes 3-0.
Thank you very much.
I thank you guys for coming in on a special meeting. I do appreciate you.
Thanks, sir. If you would, just, Jason is out of the office until,
He's back tomorrow.
he'll be back home? Okay.
Yep.
Just see Mr. Boswell, and he'll take care of you as far as necessary paperwork for the building permit.
Okay, sounds good. All right,
Thank you all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Bye, Janice.
With that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Weaver,
Aye.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I think we do that one. I think we're, I don't run that many meetings.
That's it.
Okay.
Who's your